Late at night, several diving enthusiasts came to a river channel to catch fish. However, after going down, one of them accidentally entered a mysterious underwater cave. Due to the complex structure of the cave, he completely lost his sense of direction inside. Before his air tank was completely empty. He was lucky enough to find an air pocket filled with air, but after 5 days and 5 nights, the oxygen level inside kept getting lower and lower. Just as he was losing hope, a beam of hopeful light shone through. And this is the story we are telling today, the extreme cave diving rescue at the Mengdong River in Xiangxi. The Mengdong River is located in Lieshi Village, Yongshan County, Xiangxi, Hunan Province. The entire village is built against the mountains, and the Mengdong River weaves right between two peaks. In the scorching summer, this is where locals come to beat the heat and have fun. However, while these waters look calm on the surface, a cave system spanning about 200 meters is hidden 9 meters underwater. The cave extends horizontally into the mountain along the shore, its winding structure resembling a maze. But the locals only know there is a cave opening here. As for how deep it actually is or where it leads, nobody knows. The time goes back to the early morning of July 20th, 2025. Mr. Wang and 3 companions took a rubber boat to the Mengdong River, planning to catch fish together. Mr. Wang is an outdoor enthusiast who loves diving. He has been self-learning diving online for 2 years. He had previously dived as deep as 39 meters. So, he did not take a river channel less than 20 meters deep very seriously. Although they knew there was a cave 9 meters below, they had no intention of entering it and just treated it as a routine recreational dive. At around 1 in the morning, while his 3 companions were getting ready on the boat, Mr. Wang took his 200-bar air tank and dove in first. However, in the short time it took his companions to light a cigarette, they turned around and realized Mr. Wang's bubbles had disappeared from the surface, and he was nowhere to be seen. Several of them jumped into the water to search for him, but days of continuous rain had made the Mengdong River very murky. On top of that, it was a night dive. It was hard enough for them to tell directions just using headlamps, let alone find Mr. Wang. In a panic, his companions immediately called the police. Soon after, the local government quickly coordinated multiple rescue forces. Before 9 in the morning, the Xiangxi Shuguang rescue team was the first to arrive at the scene, and Mr. Wang's companions told the rescue team. At that time, they watched his light and bubbles swim past the cave opening. The light and bubbles only completely disappeared after he had passed it by 15 meters. Therefore, they were certain that Mr. Wang definitely did not enter the cave. And it was exactly this statement that caused the rescue team to focus their search entirely on the open waters outside the cave where Mr. Wang disappeared. After 2 days of a grid-style search, they dove as deep as 25 meters underwater at one point, and covered over 1,000 square meters, but only found a fresh footprint that looked like it was made by a fin. Later, the rescue team brought in an underwater drone to join the search. After checking hundreds of meters upstream and downstream with absolutely no results, there was only one possibility left. Mr. Wang had most likely wandered into the cave by mistake. Following this, Captain Tian and members of the Shuguang rescue team entered the cave twice to search, but due to poor visibility, narrow passages, and stalactites constantly snagging the guideline, the rescue work faced great difficulties. Although they discovered a few air pockets along the way, they still found nothing. Over 4 days, they used everything they could, including sonar and underwater drones. But Mr. Wang seemed to have vanished into thin air. For a moment, the rescue hit a dead end. Generally, a person can survive for 7 to 15 days with water and air. But by now, Mr. Wang had been missing for over 4 days. The rescue window was becoming increasingly precious. There was an urgent need for a more professional underwater rescue team to step in. At noon on July 23rd, the Hunan authorities sent a formal request for assistance to the Bay's Municipal Public Security Bureau in Guangxi. The Bay's Special Police Water Rescue Detachment of Guangxi is the only police unit in the country with cave diving rescue capabilities. Knowing the urgency of the situation, 11 elite members of the Bay's Public Security Bureau drove through the night to Hunan. They arrived at the scene at 12:30 p.m. on July 24th. By this time, Mr. Wang had been missing for 105 hours. After reviewing the situation, the rescue team formulated the following plan. The 11 members were divided into 3 teams: underwater search and rescue, surface support, and equipment logistics. Among them, Su Shirda and Huang Zhang were the first divers to gear up and leap into the water. Their goal was very clear. It was to check the air pockets inside the cave where a person could surface and breathe, because if he was still alive, he had to be inside one of those air pockets. But the underwater visibility was terrible, less than a single meter. Combined with the treacherous terrain, they could only rely on their own flashlights to feel their way slowly along the rock walls. The 2 pushed forward about 70 meters, checking the first 4 air pockets one by one. They also laid down the first guideline along the way, but they still found no sign of the trapped diver. The fruitless first round of searching cast an even darker shadow over the already tense atmosphere. At 3:35 p.m., the second team of divers, Yan Ming and Lu Qingji, took over and entered the water. They continued deeper from where the first team left off. Soon, the two discovered another series of air pockets. But even after pushing forward another 90 meters, reaching a maximum depth of 15 meters, there was still nothing. So, after securing the guideline at the furthest point, the two turned back. They intended to do a second, thorough check along the same route. And just as they headed back to around the 80-meter mark, Yan Ming noticed a light suddenly flash toward him. At first, he thought it was his teammate, but the light was waving very frantically, which was clearly different from the team's signals. After freezing for a couple of seconds, the two realized what was happening. As they swam closer, it was indeed Mr. Wang, who had been missing for days. It turned out that when Yan Ming and Lu Qingji first swam past, Mr. Wang, who was sleeping in the air pocket, faintly heard movement in the water. Once he confirmed a light was appearing below, Mr. Wang got so excited that he jumped straight into the water to signal for help. But after a dozen seconds, the divers were already gone. So, Mr. Wang returned to the air pocket and put on his diving gear ahead of time, planning to go down again when they came back. More than 10 minutes later, seeing someone swimming by again, Mr. Wang jumped into the water once more and waved his flashlight frantically at them. The two officers then quickly swam over to him. The place where Mr. Wang was trapped was a completely sealed air pocket. It was 2 meters wide, up to 5 meters high, and about 10 meters long. There was no flat ground inside the cave chamber. To avoid hypothermia, Mr. Wang had to hunch over and sit inside a hollow right against the wall. But how to bring Mr. Wang out safely was the next big challenge. Because once Yan Ming and Lu Qingji entered the air pocket, they found it very hard to breathe. This meant the oxygen content inside was already extremely low. Furthermore, Mr. Wang's air tank only had 4% of its air left. With the rising levels of carbon dioxide, he could suffer toxicity or pass out at any moment. In addition, the air pocket Mr. Wang was in was located 9.4 meters underwater. This meant he had been submerged at the bottom for 5 full days. He needed to go through a decompression procedure before coming to the surface. After a quick discussion, they decided that Yan Ming would return to the surface first to report. He would then bring down a tank of high-concentration oxygen to improve the air inside the cave. Lu Qingji stayed in the cave to keep Mr. Wang company, and handed over a full air tank to him. Meanwhile, Lu used a tank that was only 50% full. But the problem was, Lu Qingji still needed to swim out using that remaining 50%. To conserve air, he did not dare climb up into the air pocket, as that movement would increase his oxygen consumption. He could only stay soaked in the water, waiting for his teammates to return. Around 6 p.m., Liang Liang led Su Shirda and Huang Xingyu to the air pocket, where they joined Yan Ming and Lu Qingji. Since Lu Qingji was not feeling well, he headed back to the surface first. After assessing the condition of the trapped diver, the team decided to use an underwater towing tactic to bring him to the surface. Su Shirda took the lead in front as the navigator. Liang Liang and Yan Ming flanked the trapped diver on both sides. To be safe, Liang Liang also tied himself to Mr. Wang with a rope. Huang Xingyu followed in the rear to monitor the situation at all times, ensuring nothing would go wrong during the escort. Even though they had told Mr. Wang not to panic before setting off, they noticed he was still swimming incredibly fast during the swim. The team members had to try their hardest to hold back his speed. It was originally expected to take 20 minutes, but they made it out of the cave entrance in about 10 minutes. Even when they reached about 3 meters from the surface, the team tried their best to get him to hold for another minute to decompress, but there was no stopping the overly excited Mr. Wang. At 6:30 p.m. on July 24th, Mr. Wang broke through the surface of the water rapidly. He pumped his right arm high into the air, making a triumphant fist pump. Play video. At this moment, the 110-hour search finally reached a heartwarming conclusion. Afterward, Mr. Wang also shared the details of his terrifying ordeal. It turns out that after he dove underwater, due to low visibility, he mistakenly entered the cave while adjusting his direction at the river bottom. This led him to swim nearly 120 meters without ever finding the exit. By then, Mr. Wang had about 40% of his air left. Realizing he was lost, he knew his only chance of survival was to find an air pocket. So, he felt his way along the rock walls inch by inch, since he had no idea how long he would be trapped. And to prevent hypothermia, he had to find a place where he could both get out of the water and have access to drinking water. After exploring several air pockets in a row, he finally found the cave chamber where he would stay. By this point, Mr. Wang only had 25% of his air left, and his flashlight was dying, which threw him into deep despair for a moment. But believing his companions would definitely find a way to save him, Mr. Wang kept pushing through. During his 5 days in the cave, he survived solely on drinking water, contrary to internet rumors that he ate raw fish. The cave was pitch black, making it impossible to tell day from night. He would sleep for a bit when exhausted, but his intense will to live made it hard to sleep for long. During the first 3 days, Mr. Wang only turned on his flashlight twice, and drank water no more than 6 times. After being rescued, except for his feet being pruned white and some bruising on his legs, Mr. Wang was in good spirits. Upon reaching the shore, he tightly gripped the rescuer's hands to express his gratitude repeatedly, and even asked them for a cigarette to smoke.